So when you first start out on keto, you probably do a lot of research to find out what it's all about, what to do and what not to do. And one of the things you're probably going to hear about is something people call the keto flu. So what exactly does that mean and why do I have to worry about it? When you start limiting your carbs, the body naturally starts to process electrolytes differently. And that's because the kidney starts to excrete more sodium due to the insulin levels going down. And there's a very sensitive balance between sodium and other electrolytes in your body. So this increase in sodium excretion can affect and disrupt other electrolytes as well. So a lot of people, when they go on a very low carb diet, will in the beginning of the diet experiencing something we call the keto flu. It's usually temporary, but some people like myself are affected throughout a keto diet. I've been on keto for about 8 years now, and I still supplement electrolytes. So the main electrolytes we're going to focus on are sodium, potassium, and magnesium. There are other electrolytes like calcium and phosphorus, but they're not quite as affected by low carb diets, so we're going to stick with the three big ones here. The main thing here when you're starting out on a keto diet is prevention of the keto flu. So if you actually supplement sodium, magnesium, and potassium before you even start your diet, you can prevent the keto flu. So do you really need to supplement? Well, this is a personal decision, and if you feel great and you're doing keto and everything is hunky-dory, there's probably no need to do anything about anything. And then we have other cases like myself. I had ulcerative colitis since I was 11 and I had my colon removed. Most people don't know this, but the colon is where all the water uptake takes place in your body. So when you don't have a colon, the body really scrambles and you are in perpetual state of dehydration all the time. And being on a keto diet, of course, makes this even worse. So I actually supplement with electrolytes every day. I usually always start my morning with a half-liter bottle with some kind of electrolyte supplement, and if I don't do that, I can definitely feel the difference later in the day. But that's on the extreme end of it. So you might not need any supplementation. You might just need to supplement in the first few weeks of your keto diet, or every so often when you feel like your energy levels are down. And the same thing goes for if you do a lot of physical strenuous activities. Your electrolyte needs are definitely going to be much higher than anyone who, like me, just sit by a desk and go for short walks during the day. So the question then becomes, what do I need to take, how much, and what products are good? If we start with sodium, you often hear in the news saying, oh, you should cut down on sodium, it's not good for your heart and things like that. And that might be the case if you're on a high carb diet, but on a low carb diet, you're on the opposite end of this because of, like I mentioned earlier, the excretion of extra sodium from your kidneys. And there's actually several studies that have come out lately that are indicating that this low sodium recommendation that they have out there, it can actually lead to higher mortality rates. So why exactly does anyone on a low carb diet, such as the keto diet, need to increase sodium? When you drastically reduce your carb intake, your blood insulin level will decrease, which is a good thing. That's what you really want. But this also causes your body to excrete more sodium, which can lead to several symptoms if you don't increase your sodium level. You might feel fatigued, weak, you might get headaches, or have difficulties concentrating. You actually need about 3 to 7 grams of sodium a day. That depends on your activity level. But sodium is not the same as salt. Salt contains only about 40% sodium. So 3 to 7 grams of sodium would be equivalent to about 1 to 3 teaspoons of salt. And that's about 7 to 17 grams. Most people get at least 2 grams of sodium from the average food that they eat, and the rest of it you can just supplement. But know that if you have high blood pressure, if you have any kind of kidney disease, if you're in heart failure or any medical condition like that, you should definitely talk to your doctor before you start supplementing with sodium. So the next important electrolyte on the list is potassium. And it's a little bit of a domino effect. When your body starts losing sodium, your kidneys also start excreting more potassium. This is the body's attempt to try to maintain the balance of electrolytes. And if your potassium levels go low, you can experience symptoms such as muscle cramps, muscle twitching, or heart palpitations. I myself notice a huge difference when I haven't gotten enough potassium. My heart starts racing, I get palpitations, it's very uncomfortable. And the daily intake of potassium should be between 3,000 to 4,700 milligrams of potassium. And if you have ever looked at a regular potassium supplement, like this one, you can get it This one is from CVS. They're all the same. By law in the United States, a potassium supplement in form of a pill can never be more than 99 milligrams. It doesn't matter, how it says 595 milligrams on the front there. The actual amount of potassium is always 99 milligrams, and that's by law. So you would have to take quite a few of these if you wanted to get up to 4,700 milligrams. So what can you do then to get enough potassium? Well, there are several foods that are great when it comes to potassium. The first one that comes to mind is avocado. A medium avocado has about 1,000 milligrams of potassium, so that would be my first bet. And then you have dark leafy greens. I would say spinach, but especially Swiss chard are the best ones here for potassium. You got about 800 to 900 milligram of potassium per cup of those. And meat also has quite a lot of potassium. I would say about 400 to 500 milligram per cup for meat. And almonds clocking at about 200 milligrams per ounce. But as you can see, based on that, it can still be a struggle to get enough potassium in your diet. And now for magnesium. Unlike potassium and sodium, magnesium needs are not necessarily part of that intricate balance, and your needs don't necessarily increase when you're on a keto diet. But it can still be very difficult for people on keto to get enough magnesium in their diet alone, and you need about 400 milligrams a day to feel comfortable. If you don't have enough magnesium in your body, you will feel things like charley horses at night, muscle cramps after exercising. It can be very uncomfortable. I know for sure because I've woken up several times during the night with a big charley horse, and that's just not something you want to do. And when it comes to diet, I would say the foods here are, again, Swiss chard, really good for magnesium. There's about 150 milligrams of magnesium in a cup of cooked Swiss chard. Some seeds and nuts are good too. But I really like to take my magnesium as a supplement, and I always take it right before bedtime because it has a relaxing effect. If you've never taken magnesium before, you would definitely notice a difference. I did. I slept like a baby first time I ever took magnesium. But here's the problem. There's so many different types of magnesium out there. So it can be very confusing when you go to the store and trying to pick one up. Which one do I pick? I would say the number one rule here, you want to avoid magnesium oxide. And this is unfortunately the one that you most likely will see in a store of any kind. Magnesium oxide is not very bioavailable, and the body can't really take it up. So if you take that, only about 10% of the supplement is actually going to be utilized. Since there's so many different varieties on the market, I would say concentrate on magnesium glycinate and magnesium citrate. I would say if you easily get constipated, like a lot of people do on keto diet, I would say take the magnesium citrate. It has a slightly laxative effect that can really be helpful. If you, like me, are the opposite, I would say take magnesium glycinate. This brand has served me well over the years. So again, just be careful if you have any kind of kidney disease. You definitely want to talk to a doctor before you take any types of supplements, even magnesium. There are some types of medications that can be adversely affected by taking magnesium, so talk to your doctor. So what do I recommend when it comes to electrolyte supplements? Well, like I said before, I've done keto for 8 years, so I've tried a lot of different products. And in the beginning, I started out with just, salt. I tried to eat a bunch of these potassium pills, which didn't really do much. I pretty much always taken magnesium because it makes such a big difference, and I found it right away. But potassium, that was my big problem. Where do I find potassium? Well, there are a whole bunch of different ones on the market that I can recommend. It all depends a little bit on your preferences and how you live, but my number one favorite is Dr. Berg's electrolyte powder, and the reason for this is threefold. It has 1,000 milligrams of potassium per scoop, which is really great. I think it's the highest one I've found so far. And then it's sweetened with natural stevia. It doesn't have anything weird or artificial in it. It has a great taste, and it also dissolves very quickly and easily into water. The taste is raspberry lemon, and I gotta tell you, making 1,000 milligrams of potassium taste good, that's a feat. So this is my number one recommendation. The only reason I would hesitate to recommend it would be the price. It is quite pricey, $35 to $40 depending on where you buy it. And I actually found that it's cheaper to buy it from Amazon rather than directly from Dr. Berg because the shipping charges, if you have Prime, are free. This is a company called Keto Vitals. It's definitely cheaper than Dr. Berg's, and the potassium in this one is 500 milligrams. So you're getting half the potassium, but it's also half the price. So the ingredients are not quite as good, but it's a budget-friendly option and it will do the trick. I like the ones that are bigger like this with a scoop that you can put directly into your bottle of water. A lot of people like portability, and this is a great brand, Ultima. These are one-time usable packets. Easy to bring in your purse, pop one in the bottle when you feel like you need it. Easy on the go supplement. The flavors are also great. They come in all kinds of different flavors, so it makes it a little bit more fun if you're one of those people who want a little bit of variety and don't want to drink the same flavor every day. You get 20 packs for about $20 on Amazon, and these only have about 250 milligrams of potassium, but these are great for portability and it tastes really good. And then we have this one, Sip Fizz. A lot of people love these little tubes. A 30 pack is about $30 on Amazon, and they are very portable. But a word of caution here. You can't add these to a regular bottle of water. They fizz. So you need to have your water in a larger cup of some kind and then add this onto it, or you will end up with a big mess. The main thing to know about Sip Fizz is that they contain caffeine. So don't go and guzzle a whole bunch of these down right before you go to bed. Each has about 100 milligrams of caffeine. That's a nice strong cup of coffee right there. But the big plus with these are they're very high in potassium at 950 milligrams. So that's almost as high as Dr. Berg. So if it wasn't for the caffeine, I would be drinking these all the time because they come in so many fun flavors. And these also have a bunch of other vitamins, so you could essentially use one of these as a multivitamin each day. So I would be careful with how many I drank in one day due to that fact. They are sugar-free, but these have a little bit of carbs in them. These do have 2 grams of total carbs per serving, so that's also something to keep in mind. All the other ones I showed you have no carbs. If you prefer a no-nonsense electrolyte supplement, I can recommend something like Elite. This is something I used a lot in the beginning because I didn't really know of any others. It doesn't have a great flavor, it tastes salty, but you just add a few drops to your water and you're good to go. So half a teaspoon of that would give you about 130 milligrams of potassium, 125 milligrams of sodium, but those have no magnesium. But you can get a big 18-ounce bottle of Elite, which is 220 servings, for only $27 on Amazon. So no frills, but still does the trick if you supplement with the magnesium on the side. Speaking of electrolytes on a budget, you can actually make your own electrolyte blend fairly easily. You can buy potassium as a bulk supplement. This is potassium citrate. You can get these on Amazon as well. A bag like this will last you forever, probably a few years, and it's only $16. But this is not something I would recommend for everyone because you want to make sure you know what you're doing so you don't overdose on potassium. But if you wanted to go on a budget, you could definitely make your own electrolyte powder mixture with this and some sea salt, and then just put, and either you can add, they also have magnesium as bulk supplements, or you can just take a magnesium supplement on the side. Of course, that would taste terrible, so you would have to add some kind of water enhancer. There are some that are sweetened with stevia that taste pretty good, all kinds of fruity flavors. Some of those water enhancers do have carbs, so be careful and read the labels if you choose to try that route. If you are completely new to electrolytes, I would say go with the premixed powders. Don't dabble in making your own, but it is an option out there for you who are thinking ahead and you know you're going to do this long term and you want to save some money. So in conclusion, do you really need to supplement? Well, maybe not. It can definitely make your keto journey a lot more comfortable, especially in the beginning, and especially if you try to put some electrolytes in your body before you go on the very low carb diet. I will list a link to all the supplements I talked to down below, and if you have any comments or other recommendations, definitely feel free to leave a comment down below. Hopefully this video has cleared up some of the confusion regarding electrolytes and keto. Thank you for watching.